Hello, hello, hello. It is Thursday, January 21st of 2021, and this is my Thursday afternoon live stream. If you're just joining us, I do a live stream on Monday nights at 7 o'clock, and I do one on Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m. to try to catch people that are in other parts of the world and give them a chance to get involved and be part of it. This live stream, basically, we talk about mostly talk about classic cars, Mustangs, Camaros, Dodge, Plymouth, Pontiacs, whatever, and we try to answer questions or give insight into ideas and stuff for these cars and how to work on them and resolve problems. So, with that, we have a great community here. We have a great group of people that show up every week, and I appreciate every one of them being here. I'm going to start off real quick here, but the very first one is Chris Greenaway. Glad you're here, Chris. One Man's Treasure says, heck yeah, 12 p.m. I don't know if he meant he was here early or if it was just his time period is 12 p.m. Greg's Workshop, checking in from Australia. Hi, Greg. Hope you're doing well. Destroyer. Hey, everyone. Out of Gas Garage, which, as it turns out, is Ricard from Sweden. Glad you're here. So you got a channel name. Is that how that works now? Are you going to start making videos? We'll have to, if so, we'll have to follow up with that. Again, Chris, Rick Stevenson. Hey, everyone. Stang Boy 75. Hey, Barry. Hey, gang. Don't forget those thumbs up. That's right. Thumbs up. Got to hit them. 67 Dodge, Polara, second live. Last one was great. Glad you're here. Big Red 67. Happy Thursday. Yes. Phil, am so checking in. Glad you're here. Jerry from Middle Tennessee. Is a drab day, a bit of rain early, but is overcast. Yeah, it's been a drab day here as well. Just kind of, it's not raining. It's just drizzle the whole day. Ugh. Jack W. checking in from New Jersey. Chris, how are you, my friend? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Derek Pro. Hi, Barry, everyone. Hope you all are well. I hope things are going well for you as likewise, Derek. Cricado. Boa tarde. I'm going to guess that means something like a little late. I'm guessing. I don't know. Gary A. checking in. Crash Rider, hello. From sunny, at least today, southern Indiana. Yeah. Terry Keithley. Afternoon, Barry. Glad you're here. Truck 1LT. Afternoon. Marshall Overaker. Howdy from Georgia, folks. Yes. And I'm sure the weather isn't any good where you're at either, Marshall. Chris is looking at his build sheet for the formula. Harvey, Rallycat Garage, checking in. Yeah, Harvey, I sent you a text, and I don't know if you responded to it or not. I sent it yesterday, but not a big deal. 67 Dodge, except for the unknown thumbs down guy. Boom. There he is. Yep. The unknown thumbs down every video, but it counts as a view. So thank you, thumbs down guy, whoever you are. Footage Factory, Steve, glad you're here. You're here early. Did you make it back to the States? That's the question. Jessica's Two Car Garage, good afternoon, or good after morning. Okay. Chris, 2.5 feet of snow, trying to get gung-ho to work out in the drafty carport. Yeah, it's no fun. Let's see. So Ricard is trying to document his Mustang project on his own channel. Awesome. Out of Gas Garage, we'll have to check that out. Make sure you give him a look. We'll see how that goes. And we have Wally checking in from Canada. 68 Mustang Restoration. Awesome videos, Wally. Awesome videos. If you haven't already, go check out 68 Mustang Restoration. He's doing a great job with his videos. That's all right, Harvey. We'll get it figured out. Adam, how's the Mustang build going? It's coming along. Actually, I'm making good progress, and there will be a new video up tomorrow. And I've been filming and trying to get editing done. So there will be a video up tomorrow, and I already have the next segment filmed for the follow up to that one. But I have to do all the editing and get that going as well. So, but it's coming along. I'm getting little things done too. Like, I did a startup on Monday. I can't do a startup today. I'll just say that up front. No startup, because I had to pull the fan off of the front of the engine in order to work on the AC stuff. So the fan is off right now, and I'm throwing some paint on it, trying to make it look nice. We'll have to do a startup another day. Steve, no, still in the land of Scots. Well, I hope you're having a good time while you're there. I don't know when you're going to make it back, but let us know when you make it back. Jerry, does anyone have suggestions on electronic distributors? I don't. I know there's a default. I can't think of the name right now. There's a default one that most everybody uses, but I don't have one that I can recommend right off the bat. Anybody have any input would be great. You're welcome, Ricard. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Steve, out of gas garage, wasn't he putting a high geared rear end in? I don't. Oh, he's saying he's put in factory footage factories 355 gears is what he's saying it has in it. Let's see, Chris, I got my card in the mail this week. Can't wait for the next parts shipment. Yep, and I'll talk about that I think a little bit today. Give you a bell for reminding me. I have some other parts showed up, and I don't think I'm going to do an unboxing video like I've done before because it's a pretty small order, but it'd be nice to show you what's going on with it. Truck one. Okay. Truck one. I'm still trying to get over the anger from FedEx damaging my new hood. So that was okay. So you had shared that picture or pictures of your fiberglass hood on my post on Joe Daddy's Garage Facebook page. And yeah, I would be pretty upset about that as well. I don't blame you at all. That was pretty messed up. Whoa, Jeff, 66 Mustang, super sticker, 49. Thank you, man. Awesome. That's what I like to see. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Jeff. That's awesome. Thank you. Seriously. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Chris is saying for the distributor, MSD. And there's another one, what is it, Petronics, where you modify your existing distributor with a Petronics kit. But yeah, MSD would be probably a good choice. Marshall, put the new rear bumper and brackets on my 65. Top is too far in and bottom is too far out. Thinking I'll have to cut the brackets up and rework them. Son of a, did watch your bumper vid, Barry. Yeah. Yep. I'm not surprised at all. Sometimes you just have to fix things, which is more common anymore. Matt, I'm looking for a distributor. Also, no way I'm spending $500 on a MSD. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yep. There. Yeah. Thanks again, Jeff. Thanks. Jerry, my engine is an inline 6 for the distributor. Yeah, in case anybody was wanting to. Yeah, and I don't know if there's a, if MSD or somebody makes one. I'm sure they do for the 6-cylinder. Why wouldn't they? They'll probably sell them. So let's see, Harvey. I checked on my untouched 68 Mustang and the radiator support brackets under the headlight bucket. Thank you. I figured as much. But I'm trying to get the front end all, again, I'm going to put all the sheet metal back together on the front of the car because I still want to modify the lower valance, the front valance. And there's some conflict whenever you tighten everything up and things start to bind. I don't like binding stuff. I want stuff to just bolt together, as it should be. You should be able to just put it in place, drop a bolt in, and you're done. You shouldn't have to be prying and pushing. And so I'm going to have to play with that a little and see if I can't get everything to go smoothly. So I'm going to get used to it. It says out of gas garage. I'm going to have to use the same Ricard for that. He says he ran the Petronics conversion for many years, worked like a charm. Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about him. Andy Jackson, hello from Amish Country, Pennsylvania. Love all of videos. Extremely helpful with my Cougar. Awesome, Andy. Glad you're here. Let's see. Phil, you've got some big meats on the back of Jade. Any chance of flaring her fenders? I love the tutorial. I don't need to flare them. In fact, I have room to spare because I have that oddball 59 Mercury station wagon rear end in the back of it. And there's actually spacers. There's spacers probably inch or more, inch and a quarter on the face of the drum for those wheels. If I took those spacers out, those wheels would even tuck in further. So, and I don't even know. I don't think I even would have to mini tub it. I think there's enough room there that I could tuck those all the way under if I wanted to. But I don't have any flaring videos or tutorials on that. Karsten checking in from Denmark. Glad you're here, Karsten. Chris, well, you're better than some people. Guy has a Fairlane wagon, but with accident apron damage. Instead of fixing correctly, they hammered it to where they got the hood to fit. Yeah. And I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. Even when I was a teenager, I couldn't make that normal. It just didn't work in my mind. So I'm going to try. I want to be able to. And the difficulty too, when you do these cars, and I've said it before in other conversations and videos, you can take the fender on and off 3 times and it's going to fit different 3 times. It's like there's no rhyme or reason why when you set a fender on the car, you can put the bolts, you can have marks, you can have all kinds of stuff. And I swear it's different every single time. They're not consistent. But that's why they have big, elongated holes and stuff so that you can wiggle this stuff around and get it where it needs to be. Like the modern cars, if you pull a fender off of like a Honda, there's really no room. I mean, when it comes down to it, you're massaging the shape of the fender rather than moving it around on bolt holes. It's those fenders are so thin, and I've done it to where stuff didn't line up, and you can literally grab the fender, just kind of force it and change the shape of it and go, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm done. But for the most part, they don't have any slots or grooves or anything cut into them for movement. And, that's the way it is. Chris, you have fixed aprons, etc. It's not hard. Yeah. Yep. But you got to make sure the aprons are in the right spot too. I've been thinking about more and more about the Mustangs versus Camaros or whatever. And we've talked about it, of course, that the Mustang, it's all just sheet metal, spot welded together. And like a Camaro, the whole front subframe unbolts, the fenders have inner fenders, and everything's bolted to this and bolted to that. And, I think they both have their pros and cons. But the more I work on like this Mustang, the more I guess I appreciate how simple they are. In reality, they're very simple. It's just pieces of sheet metal welded together. Now, the challenge is you have to get all of those pieces in the right spot so that when you put the exterior panels on, they line up. That's the real challenge. Whereas a Camaro, we talked about it, or even the Firebirds and stuff like that, you can move everything on the bolt mounts. The subframe, the core support, you can move that thing all over the place and adjust the whole front end as needed. But the concept of the Mustangs, like I said, very, very simple idea. It's just sheet metal, and whenever I was underneath the dash and putting in the kill mat, I was like, there's nothing complicated under here. It's just the shapes that are complicated, but just nothing complex. Whereas like the Camaro, granted the cowl has two layers. You have an upper and lower, and then you look at a Camaro cowl, and it actually transfers all the way to the outside of the body. So you have the two layers, and then it's this big cavernous thing that comes around the side and blows in air at the side of your feet. So it's just different designs and stuff like that. But the Mustang to me is pretty simple. Jan, hi Barry from the Netherlands. Great, I'm glad you're here. Andy Jackson, when you did extensive work like radiator sport, torque boxes, etc., did you measure and check straightness often? Oh yeah. But the thing is, whenever I do those type of things where I put in the replace the core support, aprons, whatever, I don't weld anything in place until I can set the fenders on, put the hood on. I want to see where the holes are going to translate from the fender to the aprons and so forth, so that if something is off, I can adjust it, because the fenders define your final fit. I would rather make adjustments underneath that really can't be seen, get those position, inner structure positioned correctly, to where, again, you set the fenders on, boom, look at that, it lines up. So, but I still do a lot of measuring, and cross measures and everything else. But yeah, I do a lot of that. Bob, let's see. Bob, I guess up in Taylor, Michigan, south of Detroit, checking in. How are you today, sir? I'm doing well, and I hope you are as well. Bad Harry checking in from Ontario, Canada. Glad you're here. Chris, the only thing that I think GM products 1969 have on the Fords is the front plastic Endura material. Okay, you're talking like the Endura bumpers and stuff. Or are you talking further ahead, the actual like rubber pieces? Yeah, and the problem with those too is they shrink over time. So I've seen it before on the Firebirds and stuff. Those panels shrink in, and it's hard to find good stuff that fits. Saying 69 and on, yeah. Hello from Norway, RJ. Glad you're here. And let's see. Fresh news. Is there anything better than a few beers on a summer afternoon, a few mates, and an old hunk of junk to work on? Don't forget the barbecue. That sounds really good to me. I'm waiting for summer to get here. We have Mach 1. Hey, Bob, I have family in Island Park and used to visit every summer over in Michael Street back when I was a kid in the 70s. So he's saying to Bob, I'm not sure who he's talking to. Chris saying fresh news, a freshly washed black car in the driveway. Cool. That's a good thing. Got to keep them clean, right? Got to keep them clean. Okay. I was talking earlier about, you're saying all reproduced now? Yeah, I know that it used to be a hard time to find those rubber pieces. Now I haven't seen the aftermarket and how well they're made in comparison to the original, so I can't speak about those specifically. Hopefully they've got good molds and they're making good copies. But I know that those things would shrink and it'd be a nightmare. And they'd crack. The old ones would crack. Dave Conville checking in from New Jersey as well. Glad you're here, Dave. All right, I wanted to give a little shout out for some parts. Now, these are parts I ordered, so the shout out is to the company. And the reason I want to do this is I was looking for side marker lights for the the front fender on Jade. I think I talked about it. I showed that I'd saved the two brackets. I found the brackets, cleaned them up, painted them, thought, okay, I'm good. Now all I need to do is order the lights. Well, I couldn't find the lights. I went online and I'm looking for just buying the lights, the housings and the, you know, I didn't want to buy everything. So I started looking and I looked at CJ and I looked at NPD, and then I just did a flat out Google search, and I'm thinking, how much are these things? Well, I'm not going to pull it up, but if you look for them, I think they're around $77 a piece. A piece. And I thought, what? Why are these so expensive? And then it didn't matter if it was NPD or CJ or whatever, but I did, like I said, I did a just flat out Google search, and I found these ones that popped up, and the website was kind of weird looking. I really didn't know if it was a legitimate thing or not. So I went through the process and I ordered them, and they sell those for $55.95 each. $55.95 each. So $20 cheaper than NPD or CJ. And the company, when I got the receipt, that was what was different about it. It was Magic Valley Mustang. I don't know if anybody ever heard of Magic Valley Mustang before. I didn't hear about them before. And they're in Twin Falls, Idaho. So, whenever I looked at the website, the website was weird. It didn't come up saying Magic Valley Mustang from what I remember. It was just something different. But I got the two plain Jane looking boxes, and this is ACP is the company. And I was like, well, if they're good, they're good. Open up the box, pulled them out. This thing looks fantastic. So I don't know. I'm assuming, I doubt there's like 5 different manufacturers of these, right? There's probably one manufacturer of these things, and everybody gets them and just puts their price on them. So if you're looking for side marker lights, then check out Magic Valley Mustang and see if they're, what you need. But I couldn't beat the price anywhere else. So they get a bell. I get a bell. You get a bell. But anyway, so now I have my side marker lights. So I'm happy about that. The other thing that I got, I ordered, I don't know if I have them out. I might have them set aside. From CJ, I was looking for what would be the, what's the term? Let's see what the package says. Stone deflector hardware kit for the 68 Mustang. And it's hard to describe this because some people say rock guard. I was calling it an upper valance, and then this, stone deflector. And the reason I wanted to order this because it has these odd bolts. Now these bolts have little shoulders underneath here, and basically you slip it up in the hole and then rotate it, and it holds it in place. So, anyway, I wanted that specific hardware, so I got those from CJ. In fact, I don't even know that NPD carries these. And this is actually, the package is AMK products, and so stone deflector group number 17779. So now I have those, which is cool. And one more thing. I ordered seatbelts. Now these are just the front seatbelt kit from CJ. And I'm not going to open these, but I have new front seatbelts, and they have the little, they have retractors, and they have the rods or the brackets that extend the location point, or move it forward, I should say, I guess, how I want to look at it. But anyway, again, that makes the list of things needed smaller and smaller and smaller. So anyway, Let me go back up here. So, Chris, Barry, the paint on the plastic nose of my Firebird is cracked now. If it gets sanded, will it disappear? Will the crack disappear? No, not till the paint disappears. If it's cracked in the paint, it's all the way probably through the into the primer. You know, if you sand that, it's just gonna come off. Force 18 Power. Good afternoon, Mr. Mach 1. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Yeah, I don't know who Bad England is. FBI is at your home in 10 minutes. Woohoo! Good. Sounds good to me. Chris, I tend to stick with specialty parts shops like F Body Warehouse and Firebird Central. Most Firebird parts are reproduced from them. Excellent quality. Firebird, what was it? Firebird Central? Okay. Give you a bell for that. Derek, maybe due to COVID tax, we have a big problem with that here. Prices have gone crazy due to the losses during lockdown. Yeah, I'm sure. And that's why I was very surprised whenever I saw Magic Valley. I mean, I don't even know who they are, but Phil is saying they have a big presence on eBay. Okay. I mean, I'd never heard of them, but it's just a Google search and popped it up. And I was like, okay, I'll go with it. Let's see, Michigan or Mach 1. Gonna have good memories of Michigan. Now for a question. Can you give us a quick winter storage regimen? How often should it be started and let idle? That's a good question. Now, whether, I guess it depends on your environment. I mean, I like to start a car, something up once a week anyway. Let her run for a little bit. But typically we don't do that. I mean, it might be 2-3 weeks before we remember that, hey, the car is there. I got to start it up. So, weather conditions can hamper that somewhat. I don't have a specific timeline that I can say is best. Here's the thing. The cars, they sit and oil will drain down into the oil pan. Even at that, it would take a long time for the oil to completely get away from like the camshaft and the bearings. There's still going to be a coating in there. It doesn't just drain out that easily. So I would say, if you could start it up every couple of weeks, that would probably be fine. But everybody's going to have their own kind of idea on that. That's just my opinion. I don't have any simple facts to say this is why, but that's why I look at it. Is the oil, settle over a certain period of time? They'll talk about buying an old engine from a junkyard or something and make sure you prime it before you start it up. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. But how, anything that's been sitting for a long period of time could have issues. And a long period of time, I mean like years. But my opinion. Let's see. Brian Betts. Hi, Joe Dede. I see you progressing over yonder. Over yonder. Yeah. Progression. We're making progress, that's for sure. Marshall, if you send anything enough, it will eventually disappear. That makes perfect sense. $67. I just found a Facebook page forum too. Forum. I don't know what's that in reference to, Dodge. Randy. Yes, MPD quarter extension is for 66 is $70. Magic Valley is $44, and I didn't see a difference between them. Thank you for that. Like I said, I may have to buy more stuff from them. Jan. Hi, Barry. Do you know where to get a dashbed cover 66 convertible Ivy green? I'm going to say your probably best bet is MPD. That would be my guess. I haven't bought a dash pad for a 66, but NPD seems to have the best selection for that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're looking at CJ Pony, and I know the dash pad that I bought from NPD for the 68 was from Dashes Direct. So maybe you could look up them. Dashes, I think it's dashesdirect.com. Let me check that. I think it's dashesdirect.com. Yeah, that's them. Pretty sure. Yeah, dashes DASHES direct DIRECT.com. And I'm sure they probably have exactly what you're looking for. Whoops. I'm just kind of clicking through here right now just to see if they have something. Oh, they've got original tooling vinyl dash pads, and then those aren't cheap, and reproduction vinyl dash pads. So if you want original tooling, apparently they have it, which is, it says factory colors available: black, blue, dark maroon, ivy gold, off-white, parchment, maroon, and white. So I don't know if they have the ivy green, if that's what you're looking for, right? So Dashes Direct, check them out. See what if they have what you need. Otherwise, NPD and CJ Punny. Let's see. Mr. Mach 1, J-Day's Garage question. What type of chassis paint can I spray over PPG epoxy paint? That's a good question. I don't know if I've even thought about that. You're talking about chassis paint like Pour 15 or Chassis Saver? Is that what you're referring to? I don't know what the restrictions are for those. So if that's what you're referring to, you'd have to reference what they offer or what their suggestions are. And of course, epoxy, you have to realize that it hardens up over a brief period of time. So there's some restrictions on that as well, because once it gets hardened up, it doesn't want to, other things don't want to adhere to it very well. So just saying. Brian, they say no inflation, but everything is going through the roof. Groceries have doubled. Yep. Chris, going for the repaint in spring, but it's nice that people are getting into it. My Firebird formula is winterized. I pulled the battery out in November. When we open a carport, we'll do an oil change. Yeah, change oil before starting up. That's a good call. Matt, it's always best to make sure you're going to start your car periodically. Be sure it reaches full operating temperature to cut down on condensation in the motor. That's a good idea. That's a good call as well. Make sure it's got some heat, and don't just start it up for a minute and shut it off. Let it get to temperature. Okay, so 67 Dodge is saying Magic Valley Mustang, they have a Facebook page for them. Okay. Well, cool. Maybe I need to hook up with them. Get them on the team, right? Jessica, anyone have experience with the Rally Pack? Mom 66 has one, and even the factory never could make it work. Is there anything short of brand new to fix it? I don't have an answer for that. If anybody has any input for Jessica, by all means, let her know. Derek, you can also buy fuel stabilizer so the moisture in the tank saves the fuel from going bad. As you said, every couple of weeks is okay. Run for 15 minutes or so for oil and water circulation. Yep, good call. Big Red, Barry ordering Durablock variety pack from your Amazon page. What do you suggest for sandpaper grits? I actually have some sandpaper listed as well. Now, typically, I'll hit everything on this car, any body filler, with 100 grit. I have 3M listed, yellow paper with 100 grit, but you're gonna need a variety of stuff. So I do 100 to knock everything down, try to get it leveled out, and then I'll typically go over it with like 180, so that whenever I spray high build primer, it doesn't have to work so hard to make it smooth. And then, of course, from there, I'll do one round of block sanding or so with the 180 again, knock off any of the high stuff, and then put my second round on, and then I go to like a 400. So to me, 100, 180, and 400 are my go-to paper grades. Some people like 80 grit, and that's okay. I mean, 80 grit makes some deep scratches, but just know you have to address that as you go forward. So typically 100 100, 180, and 400. And then, of course, later on, you'll need stuff for finish work, like when you're doing sanding and buffing and stuff like that. Mach 1. Got mine from Dashes Direct. Kentucky Mustang is a good source. Thank you for that. Marshall. On quarter panel extensions, they don't rust, so you might be able to find them local if you have a source. I got 2 sets for $50 and use the set that best fit my car. Yes, that is true. It's because it's like a pot metal material, so they don't rust. Good call. Chris, unfortunately, it's negative 10 Celsius. Negative 10 Celsius? I'm usually not starting until it warms up a bit. Top up antifreeze in November, bought premium for storage and added stable. Negative 10? Negative 10 Celsius? Where are you at? That's cold. Negative 10 Celsius. What's that? I don't know. I know how you do it going from, like if you had 10 degrees, it'd be times 1.8 plus 32. So 10 degrees is like what, 50? That's cold. If it works, I guess it works the same way going negative. Just a good chassis paint. Okay. Well, I don't know what they recommend specifically. Like when you're saying chassis paint, people will view that in different terms. Obviously, you have products called, Pour 15 and Chassis Saver. And I do know people have had conflict with using those over top of certain paints and primers. So I can't say that they would work great over epoxy. I know that people had, like, I think it was Paul did his Suburban, and he put on either Pour 15 or Chassis Saver, and he hit it with a pressure washer later, and it all just came off. So I would recommend that if you're looking, because I don't want to just say, hey, use this, and then it not be compatible with the epoxy. So probably the best bet is to find the data sheet for whatever brand you're looking for and see what they recommend for a base. See what they recommend. I would rather do that than tell you use this and then you have a problem and then you're like, hey, he told me to use this and it didn't work. So try to see what the actual manufacturer says to use. All right, so let me say goodbye to that guy. All right, there we go. Cleaned up that mess. Derek Pro, we have been using GM Chassis Black for years. Fantastic satin finish, covers very well, and factory look. So the only question is, will it go over top of epoxy? That's the question. And will it bond? So thank you for that, Derek. I don't even know if, I'm just trying to make sure things work well. Cooter Lev, also keep your gas tank full during the winter to avoid water in the tank. Yes. Harder for it to get moisture if there's no space in there. There you go. So got a comment from there. Chris, Midwestern Ontario. Okay. Okay, so it's 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. That's still cold. David Willis, is it possible to adjust my door without removing the fender? Possible? Yes. Easy? No. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do, but either way, you're still going to have conflict. I think you can get to the upper bolts easier. Let me see how that works. You're going to have a hard time getting around the hinge to get access. Now, if you can get the third bolt loose and then work the other two and tighten them up with your adjustment, you could probably get away with it. But it's going to be really difficult. I'll say that. Chris is saying the inner door hinges. Not sure what that's in reference to. Andy, you watched all the body work on fenders and doors. What did you do to insides of panels? to the insides of panels. What do you mean? You're talking about like treatment or something? Because I'm not sure what your question is, Andy. You're welcome, Mr. Makwan. And then we have Makwan. I used all Eastwood undercarriage or chassis paints, some smooth and some textured, also inside the rear wheel wells. There you go. Again, the question is about epoxy. You know, you want to make sure, I want to make sure stuff bonds to the epoxy. Derek, we have used it on single pack primer and 2-pack epoxy primer, high fill primers, but yes, check with supplier for their opinion. Okay, so single, are you saying pack or part? Is that single part and 2-part? I'm guessing, because I'm not sure what pack means. You're throwing more of these Aussie words at us, unless I'm just doing a spell check or something. Andy, yes, inner panel side treatment. Well, it depends on what the condition of the panel is. Like, I worked on the doors on this car, and there was some rust in the corners. So I put I tried to use some rust converter down in the bottom of the doors, and then spray on top of that a heavy primer. And that's just one way to approach it. There's other ways, like depending on the condition of it as well, whether it's ever been stripped out or, you know, what's left inside the door. Sometimes if it's solid, you can get away with putting some sprayable undercoating in there, you know, if you want to cover, just get some sound deadening quality out of it. But I'll do, you know, like a rust converter, and then primers is probably my basic function that I do on inner panels. Like the fender on this car, I rebuilt that fender. Well, everything got cleaned down to bare metal, and it got sprayed with epoxy. And then where I have the overlap for that patch, I'll put seam sealer across the top of that and make sure it's all watertight, you know, and then on some undercoating. At least on the fenders, that works for me. Oh, Chris, yeah, you can adjust the inner fenders, but you'll chip your paint. You can, like I said, it's not easy by any means to adjust fenders or just doors with the fenders on. Okay, so Derek is saying, I'm sure Eastwood would have similar products to GM. They probably do. And you're saying 2-part. Okay. So is part the word, or is pack the word in Australia? Would you say 2-pack? I don't know how that is. That would they normally say the word pack, or would they say part? Because I know you use different words than us. Okay. We're at a brief lull in any kind of comments or questions, which is fine. The next video that I have coming out, I finally got the kill mat up under the firewall and got the heater box in. So that is taken care of. And like I said, that video will be out tomorrow afternoon. And then I have been working on a condenser up front. And it was kind of funny. I ran into a problem. You know, I try to do these videos and try to show you things that work and things that don't work and whatever. And I goofed. I made a mistake. And the only thing I did wrong, I was working on a condenser. And you don't really think about it, because you can look at that condenser and go, oh, it looks the same this way or this way. Like you flip it over, and they're just the ports. And I didn't think about the ports being different sizes. My fault. So I put all the brackets on, and I just got it in place and was bolting everything in, and went to put on the tube for the upper line, and it wouldn't fit. And I was like, wait a minute. What's wrong? What did I do wrong? And then I realized, went back and looked at the instructions, of course, and I had to take everything back apart and flip the condenser over to get the large port at the top. So I'll make a note of that in the video, But it goes to show that, it helps to read the instructions. It helps to read the instructions. Paul, hey, Barry, Dave says you were talking about my problem with Port 15. Yes, I was. Because the question was asked about putting a chassis paint over epoxy. And I don't know if you had used epoxy or not, but I know you had a problem with Port 15 not bonding to your frame or whatever was holding it, whatever was covered on the, whatever paint was on the frame prior. So that was the debate as to what's a good product to use that relates to epoxy. And we have the Horton David. Hi from Denver. Another Dave? Another David? I think we've reached we keep hitting our max limit for Daves and Davids. Chris, I'm wishing for some weather to get a good stretch of work done on the car. Yeah. Well, I just want to have good enough weather that I can have the doors open. I mean, I have heat in here, but I still like to have fresh air. Just like to have fresh air. Marshall, I used Port 15 on the inside of my doors, got my 11-year-old daughter to reach the front corner. My arm may have gone in there, but may not have come back out. No child labor laws here in Georgia. Yeah. In fact, that reminds me, I did use on the Model A, my grandfather's Model A I restored. That whole car had been media blasted inside and out. And we did all the body work. But on the inside, all the inside panels, I took Port 15 and I coated that stuff. And it was all raw metal. There was no primers, nothing. And I coated that whole thing, everything inside and out with Port 15. And it has not come loose in 13, 14 years. So at least it works to bare metal. Jessica, kids got to learn somehow. Yep, that is true. Paul, my problem was with KBS, which is similar to POR. Okay. Well, I thought it was Port 15, but I'm not familiar with KBS. Paul, the first coat of KBS doesn't have the UV rating, so it has to be top coated. Okay. I get it. Thank you for that, Paul. The Horton. David, do you ever work on Fox bodies? It's been a long time. I worked on some at the body shop years ago, but have not worked on any have not worked on any Fox bodies since then. So I guess the technical answer right now is no. Paul, the top coat that I bought hardened up and I missed the recoat window. Okay. But didn't it come off the frame entirely? I thought it all came off the frame. I thought there was more to it than that. You said you hit it with a pressure washer. I thought it had, it all came off. So maybe I was confused. Chris, Dave count maybe 10 to 15 now, and counting seems a lot of people couldn't decide on naming their kids. Well, apparently, Dave or David was a popular name. You don't see many people named Barry, I can tell you that. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But you don't see a lot of that. And not that I'm, I don't know, pro or con on the name, but anyway. I don't know if I think I mentioned it on Monday. We were talking about getting parts and ordering stuff and delays. And I've got that 2004 Honda Civic that I picked up that has some minor front damage on it. And I've ordered parts for that thing like 2 months ago. I think it was back in November that I ordered parts. And, in order to save money on shipping, I ordered parts from Summit because I can just drive 35 minutes down the road and pick up the parts, no shipping cost. But the difficulty beyond that is getting the parts. So not even Summit, but other places have long delays for sheet metal. So I think I mentioned it on Monday. They said that I would have my sheet metal, which is just my hood is all I really need is my hood, would be here January 12th. I get an email, it says not coming. It'll be here, what did it say, March? Should be here March 12th. I mean, good thing I don't need this car. It's just taking up space at the moment, but it's something I want to get put together. And, I'm waiting on parts. Now, I think they have my core support. So I could probably get to work on it and get everything in place, but I want to have the hood so I can test fit stuff. But I have to, I have to get it. It's gonna be delayed. Okay, so Paul says that paint come off in spots. Okay. Barry's a good name. You could have been named Sue. Yeah, a boy named Sue, right? Johnny Cash. Mach 1, pour 15, or pour needs to be top coated too, I think. It may. It depends on where it's at. Like if it's exposed, UV exposed, then yeah, it has to be something done to it. If it's internal, it doesn't have to be top coated, from my understanding. Paul saying KBS sent me fresh stuff and a spray that would help adhesion, but it didn't work well. Okay, sorry to hear that, Paul. $67. I tell you, my project was a 02 Civic EX. Okay. Well, I picked up this 04. Actually, somebody gave it to me. 04. Minor front edge damage. It's going to need which I have all the parts already except for the hood and one filler piece. But hood, core support, right front fender, radiator, stuff. No, but I can't do anything with it until it gets back together. Bad Harry, still waiting since December 8th for fastback B pillars. Yep. And who knows when those are going to show up. Hate to say that. The Horton David, I have a 66 coupe, and there's some rust, but I noticed the frame around the trunk is shot. Is it worth it to fix? Can it be fixed? But I noticed the frame around the trunk is shot. Well, I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth it to you is probably the bigger question. And can it? Yes. Just about anything can be fixed. So you just have to realize what the, cost and time and all those different things, whether it adds up to be worth it for you to take care of it or build it. And is it a V8 car, 6-cylinder car? That weighs into it as well. Some people like the 6 cylinders, but the money is in the 8 cylinders. Mach 1 paint over rust, POR, isn't good for bare metal, I think. I think as long as it's bare metal, period, I don't think it cares. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it cares if it's rust or bare metal as long as it's clean. Let's see, where are we at? Chris, I have my parts company shipping me glass across the border. You guys complain on condition and nerve-wracking. You guys complain on condition and nerve-wracking. Oh, for the proper tinted windshield. Yeah. Andy, the shipping for everything is bad. Ordered furniture in October. Yeah. Yeah. Chris, how do you feel about the Mercury Cyclone spoiler, 1970 to 71? I'd have to, I mean, I don't really have an opinion, I guess. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I did want to point out, was it you, Chris, that was looking for a Torino? I bring this up because I saw a couple one show up on Facebook. It was a 69 Torino GT, I believe. It was on Facebook. Available for sale. So I don't know if it's still around or not, but there was one for sale. Blossom, Cummins Power Stroke or Duramax? I'm going to have to say yes. I'm going to have to say yes because I don't keep up with diesels. Derek, are you doing video on the Honda repairs? Would be a good watch. I plan to. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I mean, we used to do body shop work. Had a full body shop. I don't have a frame machine, so I don't know how much I'm going to have to massage out to make sure. I know the frame's not bent, but a lot of times you have to pull the structure away to get the core support where it needs to be. So I'm probably going to do some creative work on that to get the core support pulled out some before I cut things loose. But I do plan to do that on the for that process. Bad Harry, anyone looking for a good deal for aluminum radiator? Look up Eastwood. Just got mine today. Nice looking piece for only $159. Really? Eastwood sells radiators, or is that a different Eastwood? And that's something else I want to bring up. Now that you mentioned that, I contacted a company a few days ago, a week ago, and I said I was interested in maybe working with them to do a video on their radiator. Okay, this is a company that brags about how good their radiator is, and I'm sure it is. I don't have any doubt. So I sent them an email. They called me back and they said, "Here's what we'll do. We're interested in you doing that. You buy the radiator, do the video, install it, and then send them the link to the video, and they'll refund me the cost of the radiator and shipping." And I was like, "Oh, cool deal. I can do that." Well, I was on the phone with them, and we were talking about the car, and I said, "Well, this is what I have: 68 coupe, factory AC car. It has the big radiator in it." And the guy was like, "What side is the water neck on?" "On the bottom." And I said, "Oh, it's on the passenger side." He said, "We don't sell that radiator." I was like, "What? They don't sell that radiator?" Because apparently everybody's using the later model 302 that has the water neck come out on the driver's side. So they sell that radiator. So my conundrum is, do I just stick with what I have, or do I find one that maybe Bad Harry's talking about, or do I swap out my water pump so that I can use a different model radiator? Ugh. So that's been kind of a little thing that's been bugging me on what I should do on that as well. G Mars, hey, I'm looking to buy a stud gun for dent repair. Do you have any recommendations as to where I should buy one, something of quality and that will last? I'm not going to say that one brand is better than the other. I can't say that. However, I can tell you that I have one from Harbor Freight. I've used it many, many times. Haven't had an issue with it. They have it. They have the studs you can buy, and we used a Harbor Freight one at the body shop. Many projects we pulled with that thing, and it worked fine. So I'm going to save a few bucks. Harbor Freight. Somebody else may recommend, some high dollar one, but that's what I recommend. I haven't had any issues with it. David, it was a T code. Now it is a 5.0 with AOD, 5 lug upgrades, and 9-inch rear end. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can fix it. How's the rest of the car? That's probably the bigger question. Okay, let me see here. Okay, Ricard, good live stream tonight, but I need to jump off. We'll watch the rest tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone. Don't forget to give the live stream a thumbs up. Yes. Thank you, Ricard. Glad you're here. Dave, good night. It's like 2 p.m. Well, it's Ricard is in Sweden. Different time zone. Andy Jackson says, Chris, thumbs up. Love a car that you don't see every day. A lot of people think my 70 Cougar is a GTO. Yeah. David is saying the Cummins over the Power Stroke. Paul, they call it POR, paint over rust, and they need a lot more letters. You have to remove the skilly rust, then clean with a special marine cleaner, then apply a rust converter. Yeah. Paul, then you can paint over rust. Yeah. Looking for a 72 Grand Torino Sport and a 72 Montego GT right now. Best of things come in pairs. Yeah, we'll get them both. The Horton, I tied to come along to a tree to do a frame fix on an 04 Cadillac, work like a charm. Yes, I've done that before. I fixed up a Dodge crew cab that had the B pillar knocked in. I parked it right out here beside the shop. He used to come along in a heavy straps, pulled that B pillar out. Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. Derek Pro, tie to a tree and reverse it like the boys from the bush. Hello. Yeah, I've done that. I have done that. I have done that. Paul, remove the scale, marine clean, spray, apply, rust converter, paint over rust. Yeah, that's the new name for POR 15. Jerry is saying Power Stroke. And Eastwood sells a 3-pass. 3-pass, a bit different from a 3-tube. I don't know what the 3-pass means. And Horton saying the power 7.3 Power Stroke. Wally, watch the rotation of the water pump if you replace it. Yes, and that was one of the concerns I had, whether it would work correctly or not. Horton, look at the pulley of the water pump. If it's smooth, it's reverse, I think. Shoot, I can't remember. Well, it doesn't have a serpentine belt system on it. It has standard V-groove pulleys. So, Bad Harry, Eastwood is a place you know. Okay. Well, I'll have to look it up. Jessica saying, have yours record. Most local radiator shops will do that. Diesel will never fight or fit right. Mustang, so move on with that. Yeah. Well, I've thought about having record. I've had mixed results with shops that have record stuff. And the thing is, it's a vertical flow rather than a cross flow. I think the cross flow works better for cooling than the vertical. So that's another thing to consider. Karsten, this part of the European Union time is 10 p.m. See? Different time zones. Bad Harry, they're a tri-flow design with built-in baffles for a side flow design supposed to have superior design. I will see when I put the Coyote behind it. Okay. Well, I'll have to look it up. Either that or send me a link, one of the two. Chris, I'm a Ford Mercury man. I want my garage like the old dealership. 70 Mach 1, 70 Cougar, Eliminator there, 70 Torino here, Cobra, and 70, 71 Mercury Cyclone spoiler. Yep. I want to hit the lottery too. One man's treasure. I recently found hiking off a windy road a cut up Mustang in quarters, drawing down a ravine probably from the 70s. Okay. So a cut up Mustang cut into quarters down a ravine, probably from the 70s. That's interesting. Got to see what the VIN number says. Okay, so you're saying 64, 65. Interesting. Horton, the rest of my 6.6 coupe is a basket case, but the part I was worried about replacing is the frame. The rest is just replacement panels. Floors are bad, and rear quarters need some love. Well, I mean, the simple fix, if you can pull it off, is to get the one-piece full pan. Do the whole thing. Then you'll have the trunk pan, the frame rails, transition panel, floor supports, everything in one shot. I just think it's a good way to do it. That's my opinion. If you want to save the car, just know that the tunnel, the transition tunnel, or the tunnel for the cross member that goes side to side, is bigger on the new pans because Dynacorn makes them, and they make them to fit 65 to 68, but they build them for the 68. So 64 and 5 have the narrow cross member, and the 65 and 8 have the fatter cross member. So, so Jerry is saying 3-pass means the water passes 3 times versus all tubes flowing the water. Well, I'll have to look that up. That sounds interesting. Horton, V-belts usually mean it's not reverse flow. Correct. Jerry says Eastwood is a cross flow. All right. Well, I may have to look them up. One man's treasures. I want to put some of the forged sheet metal off the pieces onto one of my projects. So it lives on. I get it. Big Red. Yeah, anything can be fixed. Have you seen the early videos of the Brooklyn Pony? Yes. Chris, Brad, those cars aren't expensive. If you clone them, people people only can tell if they are smart. Yeah, I get it. Jerry's saying a 4-cylinder 4 Cummins diesel engine might work in the Mustang, and it might. It might. I'm sure somebody's done it. I'm sure. Okay. So we're into an hour, which is good. 57 people viewing. So I can keep going a little bit longer if everybody wants to hang on. Otherwise, we may just be calling it quits here soon. 60. Now we got 60. Okay, so the number keeps going up. Good. Marshall saying the old bread truck motor, 4-cylinder diesel. Still has, I don't know what that means, Chris. The Panaz. He still has a Panaz. Okay. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been nice having everybody here. Again, I'll be doing I have that video out tomorrow. It'll be part 3, Jade part 53. Yeah, Jade part 53. And then I'll be moving up, getting the next one out after that, which would be the condenser and stuff. So I think it's got some good information in it, and people will probably learn something. Let's see. Horton, I put a 4BT in a Willys Jeep. It was the coolest thing. Yeah, cool. Matt, I wish they would lower the price of the complete floor pans and make all of our lives easier. I would love the extra strength of a convertible floor in my next build. Yeah. If I could do it, if I had the jig stuff, I could make those pans. I mean, that's all they're using is a jig and pieces, right? But I don't know if I'll ever get to that point in my life. Okay, One Man's Treasure, strike the live up back later 2 at 4 p.m. Well, my next live will be Monday at 7. All right. So, all right. We're going to call it a day. Thank you all for being here and being part of the show. And hopefully we have a good turnout Monday night. And check back then. We'll see how things are going. Until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.